I'm Laura Bassi, a physicist from Bologna. Nothing's more exciting than discovering the wonders of the world through the eyes of science.
And the electricity is then simply routed up there.
Ever since I can remember, I've wanted to explore and understand the laws of nature. When I was 20, I was the first woman in Europe to be awarded a doctorate in natural philosophy.
There's our house.
My family is my top priority. Physics is my vocation.
Laura Bassi.
Even if obstacles are sometimes placed in my way. But I won't be stopped. I have a plan, and I'm determined to build a lightning conductor.
Come on, we have to get to the very top.
Women are different from men, but they can explore God's world just as well. I'm not afraid of anyone.
Italy, 1752. The commercial metropolis of Bologna, long a famous centre of science with the first university in Europe, is now a mere shadow of its former self. The city is shaken by economic crises. Due to growing competition from foreign companies, exports from the local hemp, paper and above all silk industry are declining. The university, the city's claim to fame, is also losing more and more of its appeal. The number of students is falling rapidly. The venerable institution urgently needs to renew itself and has to be careful not to lose touch. The scientific revolution in the 17th century marks the start of a new era. The aim is to explain the laws of nature with observations and experiments. One of the researchers at the forefront is the young professor Laura Bassi. She has been studying the phenomena of electricity for some time now. She often works late into the night.
Mama? Hey, little one. What are you doing? It's the middle of the night.
It's so loud.
There's no need to be frightened. "21, 22, 23, 24. The storm's far enough away now. Sleep well.
Will you stay with me?
Sweet dreams.
Shira is such a tender child. And so affectionate. Oh no. Lightning must have struck something. I don't believe it. Yet another fire. This time it's hit one of the Kaufmann towers. They're so high that lightning has an easy time of it. Yet there have already been experiments with lightning conductors.
Im 18. Jahrhundert ist die Gefahr von
In the 18th century, thunderstorms were a major threat to the population as a whole because Bologna, with its towers, was extremely exposed to lightning strikes.
Die Geschlechtertürme, die es eben damals noch gab, und auch
The towers, which still existed at the time, and the palazzi with their wooden panelling and staircases, were naturally extremely vulnerable.
extrem gefährdet.
If I'm right, this is already the 6th lightning strike this month. And the 3rd fire as far as I know. In Bologna alone. Who knows how many there are in the whole of Italy.
For centuries, scholars tried to unravel the mystery of lightning, without success. It was only through experimental physics that it was possible to discover that lightning is a discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Laura also swears by the conclusiveness of experiments.
Laura Bassi
was an Italian scientist from Bologna. What's special about her is that she was a pioneer, especially when it came to teaching physics, which was still new at the time.
Laura's pride and joy is her home laboratory. The Giovanni Poleni Museum in Padua has one of the largest contemporary collections of physical instruments, including those that Laura Bassi used on a daily basis. They tell of a turning point in history.
Siamo nel secolo dei lumi. Mentre prima le lezioni di quello che era
We're in the age of Enlightenment. And even though nature has been researched with experiments and observations since the scientific revolution in the 17th century, natural philosophy has still been taught at universities, based on ancient texts and lectures that have remained unchanged for centuries.
lezioni statiche.
One of the pioneers of experimental physics is Sir Isaac Newton. His research into gravity, or the composition of light, is a milestone in science. Groundbreaking inventions, such as the diving bell or the steam engine, which can convert thermal energy into motion using water vapor, are hallmarks of the new era. This also applies to the thermometer and the first mechanical pendulum clock. Neither would have existed without experiments. Many scholars develop illustrative models for demonstration purposes, for example, for the phenomenon of optical distortion. A metal cylinder shows a distorted image on its surface that is clearly recognizable as two angels in the reflection. A double cone placed on an inclined plane is astonishing because it appears to roll upwards. However, it only does so because its center of gravity is moving downwards.
What happens in the 18th century is something entirely new, because England introduces new research methods early on. These include pneumatics, mechanics, hydrostatics, thermodynamics, optics, and then electricity. Everything we refer to as physics in the modern sense.
With the knowledge about the nature of electricity, researchers soon try to construct functioning lightning conductors. Experiments are carried out on the so-called thunder house. This involves attaching a metal rod to a wooden model protruding a good distance above the roof ridge. The metal rod is intended to conduct the lightning away.
Electricity was one of the most exciting things to be researched in the 18th century. That was when it experienced its first golden age.
The Leyden jar, the first capacitor for storing electrical energy, caused a sensation. Just like the electrifying machine, a hand-driven generator for producing electricity. Demonstrations with electrifying machines became the talk of the town. Even fairgrounds started showing how to generate an electrostatic charge. Two test persons hold hands. The charge first flows through the body of one person, then through that of the second, who is standing on a well-insulated platform. At the end, pieces of paper fly into the air. The Kiss of Venus works on the same principle. It's a popular party game in which guests receive an electric shock when a lady kisses them. At the time, a number of scientists suspect that thunderstorms also generate an electrostatic charge in the atmosphere. They even try to attract electricity from thunderstorms. The scientists come up with the idea based on experiments with the Leyden jar. These show that when charged, it can produce sparks that resemble tiny lightning bolts. The researchers greatly underestimate the high risk they are running.
It is remarkable that professors were also killed during this time, because, as we all know, thunderstorm electricity can be very dangerous.
Laura Bassi also devotes herself to this dangerous lightning research. She even has her own electrifying machine.
Cheero?
She tirelessly repeats the experiments of her famous colleagues to understand how lightning strikes.
Is she possessed by the devil?
I don't know. I saw it in Marketplace the other day. You wouldn't believe it. Someone collected, what's it called on 10 people?
Elliptified?
Yeah, exactly. They fell down one after the other. And suddenly got up again.
I'm telling you, it's the devil's work.
Superstition still played a huge role at that time, of course. That's what they believed in back then.
It's called science. Or research.
It's madness, anyone can see that.
Some people in the 18th century had so-called storm corners in their homes, where they went during storms. They believed that they were protected there by God's power. Of course, there were also certain religious rites that are still passed down. Storm candles that were lit when thunderstorms were nearby.
And let's take a look, shall we?
Goodness gracious, what's she doing now? Oh God, Jiro, come with me quickly.
I'm tired.
What are you doing here?
Sorry, Signora. We couldn't look away. But we couldn't look on either. I mean, that's dangerous.
If there's a fire, we put it out.
Could I ask you something else?
Yes, of course.
The baker's wife says you're defying God. Because he's the one who sends the lightning.
But God has also given us a mind so that we can better understand lightning. Come on, I'll show you. This here is an electrifying machine. And when I set the flywheel here in motion, the glass flask rotates and rubs against the silk cloth. This charges the flask with electricity. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And the electricity is then simply conducted up there. If you touch it, go on, try, nothing will happen. Then you get an electric shock.
Oh.
And that's exactly what happens when lightning strikes a building. Much stronger, of course.
Uh-huh. I'm a bit ashamed of all my questions.
It's only questions and doubts that bring us further. Well?
Why don't you demonstrate this at the university?
That's a very good question.
Laura has asked questions ever since she was a little girl. The only daughter of a lawyer, she's inquisitive and considered a child prodigy. Gaetano Tacconi, the family doctor, recognizes her talent. He and other scholars teach the girl logic, metaphysics, and physics. In 1732, her first public debate takes place. Shortly afterwards, she's awarded a doctorate to universal acclaim, and eventually a professorship at the University of Bologna. And Pope Benedict XIV decides to sponsor her. The city even has a commemorative coin minted. It celebrates Laura's great triumph, the successful defense of her 49 theses on natural philosophy. Laura Bassi has been officially listed in the university's course catalogue since the 1732-33 academic year. She is Europe's first female philosophy professor. She was just 21 at the time.
Insofern kann man geradezu sagen,
In this respect, you could almost say that this incredibly erudite, brilliant, presentable young woman is being turned into something of a brand ambassador for Bologna's erudition. When even the girls are so eloquent, so learned, what does that mean for the academic potential of this city and for its academic status?
With Laura Bassi, Bologna finally has another attraction to offer. However, the title of professor does not mean that Laura is allowed to teach regularly. Because of her gender, she's only allowed to do so if the authorities expressly order it. Orders are only issued irregularly. Laura is usually invited to debates or to receptions for guests from abroad.
The magnetic force.
As brilliant as Laura is, the idea of gender inequality persists, despite centuries of debate, and even intensifies. The anatomical cabinet in the former Institute of Sciences of Bologna has a collection of wax figures that were originally used as explanatory models for medical lectures. The models clearly show the role that men assign to women in science. A role that was increasingly emphasized during the 18th century. They should, above all, be faithful wives and caring mothers, and bring children into the world.
Many statutes and official documents of universities and academies don't mention women at all, nor do they exclude women. This is because it occurred to no one that women could ever be professors, which is why numerous restrictions for women are only ever formulated when women arrive on the scene.
This is why Laura is also denied entry to the elite organization at the Academy of Natural Sciences. Pope Benedict XIV personally established the circle of the so-called Benedettini and selected 24 members for it, all of them men.
In 1745, Laura Bassi wrote to the Pope and informed him that, in her opinion, she also deserved the title of a Benedettini. However, as she did not want to take the place away from any of her male colleagues, she asked him to give her an extra place, which could be cancelled after her death.
The Pope actually helps her, and Laura Bassi becomes the 25th member of the Benedettini. However, the elite circle manages to ensure that she is not given the right to vote.
Well, she could really assert herself. She was a very spirited person.
Laura conducts her research at home in her laboratory.
I show my colleagues. Of course, they envy me my salary as a professor, but I spent most of it on my instruments. Thank God I have Giuseppe. He always stands by me.
She was very lucky with her husband. She was very close to him, emotionally, as well as academically and professionally. As far as work was concerned, it was a great partnership.
Giuseppe Verratti is a medical doctor, but has long been interested in electricity, and in particular, the question of what therapeutic benefits electrical impulses could have.
The electric couple are always called Bassi Verratti, not Verratti Bassi. And that makes it clear who's in charge. But they're a couple who work together. Verratti must have loved Laura Bassi very much, because he accepts his wife's fame and always stays one step behind her.
Thanks for doing all my mail, darling.
I'm a lucky man. I have a super intelligent wife. Is everything ready for your experiment tonight?
Not quite yet.
Let's see if there's a reply from the chairman to your invitation. For you, for you. Ah, Nolé yet again.
In 1752, the modernization of natural science in Italy was still comparatively new. This made the exchange between representatives of the new school of thought all the more lively. The international community communicated primarily through letters. Laura Bassi was not only one of them, she also contributed to the spread of the modern world view.
Let me show you Voltaire's signature.
Bassi's great role model is Isaac Newton, but she also admires philosophers such as the famous Frenchman Voltaire. On the 1st of March 1745, he wrote to her,
There is no Bassi in London, and I would much rather be a member of the Academy in Bologna.
Everyone is eager to meet you. This Nolé may criticize the lightning conductor, but he adores you, my dear, just like the rest of the world.
They all have their interests. Think of Voltaire.
In another letter, he praises her qualities, and not only her feminine qualities. He considers her a genius.
For Laura, the correspondence is also a political tool. The more advocates she has, the more she can achieve in her native city.
For me, that is Laura Bassi through and through. She fears no one, simply everyone comes to her.
Laura stays in touch with all the leading universities and thinkers of the time, including Francesco Algarotti in Potsdam and Voltaire in Paris. But she also knows the research work of Albrecht Haller in Göttingen, and of course Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia, and many more. It's a huge network.
At the moment, I'm mainly interested in my setup for the experiment with a lightning conductor. Theoretically, everything is clear to me. I've studied Franklin's theories thoroughly, but it also has to work in practice.
Benjamin Franklin, America's undisputed universal genius, is considered the inventor of the lightning conductor. In 1750, in 2 documents, he sets out in detail his theories on how lightning occurs, what it is physically, why it strikes, and how lightning can be attracted and also discharged. Franklin's kite experiment from June 1752 is famous. He attaches a long metal wire to the tip of a kite and, to the end of its string, a key to collect and dissipate the lightning's electrostatic charge. Weeks later, the famous researcher tells a newspaper that he was able to draw sparks from the key with his fingers, thus proving his theory. Whether the experiment ever took place is still disputed today.
Franklin saying we can build lightning conductors is not really such a strong proposition. Franklin saying that lightning is an electrical phenomenon is not all that ambitious a proposition either. There had already been natural scientists who said they'd sometimes seen little sparks jumping out of an electrical machine and heard a little bang. That's almost like lightning, only much smaller. So the analogy had already been considered to some extent.
But not all scientists of his time followed Franklin's theory that lightning was an airborne electrostatic charge. There was also an entirely different and much older idea of the nature of lightning. According to this theory, lightning is the ignition of gas accumulations that form in the atmosphere over time. The gas concentration continues to rise until it's so high that it discharges in a flash of lightning. In the worst case, this leads to catastrophe. Based on the gas theory, researchers and city fathers alike believe they have a simple antidote to lightning strikes. They recommend the ringing of church bells. The sound of the bells would disperse the gas clouds and drive the flammable gas away. A risky idea, fueled above all by medieval superstition and defensive magic. For centuries, bell ringers have been hanging on the ropes of their church bells in the firm belief that they can drive away thunderstorms and avert disaster.
And in the mid-18th century, that was actually the standard theory. That's what people believed, even scientists.
The only problem with thunderstorms is that high church towers tend to attract lightning and the bell ropes get wet.
So we have a nice wet rope with a big metal bell at the top. Any lightning strike would kill the bell ringer. And it frequently did.
Bologna, with its many churches and towers, is particularly susceptible to lightning damage. Laura finds her work on a functioning lightning conductor all the more necessary.
I hope we've thought of everything.
Of course. But do they understand your ideas?
Just imagine if they agree to us installing a lightning conductor on the university tower. The library tower contains all the important documents.
So it would be disastrous if the tower caught fire.
Yes. But where can we route the conductor without running the risk of someone accidentally touching it and being electrified? An electric shock would be fatal. Unthinkable.
That's mine! Go away!
Oh, my little darlings. They're always so good.
There are a lot of houses, and there's our house. Can you see that?
Show me where our house is.
Yes, that's where we live.
What's remarkable is that she's doing this in the middle of what could actually be described as a kind of family rush hour, that is, right in the phase when she's giving birth to children, 8 in total. Some are young, others are already older. In this respect, we can see that Laura Bassi most likely had the same balancing act of job, career, desire for research, joy in research, and sick children that a scientist has today. Child sick, daycare center closed, what do I do?
We need fresh fish, a good meal for tonight. When the guests arrive, everything has to be here. The lab has to be spotless.
Yes, Signora.
For the evening, Laura has invited an exclusive circle from Bologna society to her salon to demonstrate how a lightning conductor works.
Everyone liked to go there to discuss, look and admire. People listened and learned at the Bassi Verratti house. Yes, it would have been too nice to be a fly on the wall and see how she managed it all.
Private salons and public demonstrations were the live format for scientific debate at that time. If Laura Bassi wants a lightning conductor installed on the university tower, she has to get the most powerful men in the city on her side.
Male scientists and a few female ones do public demonstrations, and the people who attend them have a certain social status. A judge has credibility. An officer has credibility. A priest has credibility. These are people I can certainly bring in as witnesses to say that what I claim was observed by various different people. And with that, I myself can claim credibility as a naturalist.
It would be best if not only the city authorities and the university board, but also the Pope's legate supported her ambitious project.
Are you sure your plan will work?
Will you accompany me there later? We have to take a look at it. And if I go without you, there'll be talk again.
Of course.
First, we'll ask for God's help for Giacomo. He's still coughing so much.
Poor thing. You'll soon feel better again, I promise. It's all.
It hurts so much.
Infant mortality was still very high in the 18th century. That meant that parents were concerned about getting their children through the first few years with a degree of urgency that we can hardly comprehend today.
Tesoro mio.
Mama.
We'll continue with the thistle juice then. And St. Catherine will support us.
Yes.
Papa, 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 Papa.
For generations, Laura's family has prayed to St. Catherine of Bologna, the patron saint of the city's Corpus Domini church. Catherine came to Bologna in 1456 to found a convent of Poor Clares. Under her leadership, the convent became an intellectual and spiritual centre in northern Italy. She encouraged women to educate themselves and humbly put their knowledge at the service of the faith. She is Laura's spiritual role model.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Benedicta tu in mulieribus.
This is very typical of the 18th century. So it's not something that is separate, as we often imagine today, that religion and science are completely separate. They still have a lot to do with each other. The worldview as a whole is still characterized by religion, and religious motives still play a role as well.
Et benedictus est fructus ventris tui. I believe in God's love and grace, even though He has taken 2 children away from me. God has given us a world full of miracles. I beseech you, protect my family. Saint Catherine, protect our son and heal him with your strength. And rest the souls of my departed children. Amen.
The
first 2 girls died, one after a few days, the other at the age of 1.5. And I noticed that the 3rd girl, to whom she gave birth a few years later, was also called Katharina again. This certainly suggests that she was closely associated with this church and also with the veneration of St. Catherine that took place there.
Laura's parents already come to Corpus Domini Church to pray. And they too once had to fear for their child's life. As a young girl, Laura was bedridden several times. She was very unwell when she fell ill with dysentery at the age of 17, so weak that the doctors didn't know whether she would ever recover again.
Healing water, please. May the Lord bless you. Thanks be to Almighty God.
Laura Bassi has an official appointment at 3 p.m. She has to do a presentation for a delegation from abroad. Bologna is proud to have Europe's only natural philosopher at its university. However, she is expected to deliver light scientific lectures, or, even better, beautiful poetry. Her first-class rhetoric is famous beyond the country's borders, and her quick wit is notorious.
They're all gathered there, the dignitaries and professors. Yes, Just present me to your guests as your performing monkey. I know that you'd prefer me to disappear from the scientific world entirely.
In Laura Bassi, Bologna ultimately celebrates itself as a scholarly city.
Honored guests, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Professoressa Laura Bassi.
Dear sirs, I would like to enrich you with poetry. At least that's what you expect from me.
Obviously, people in the city knew that Bassi would hold her own in front of large groups of people, that she wouldn't slip up, and that she would shine. She delivered reliably when she was called on stage.
I am talking to you about the freedom of man. About my esteemed friend Voltaire. One of my favorite poems by my esteemed friend Voltaire. He speaks to me from the heart. But what do these gentlemen understand of freedom? At least not the same as me. Should we draw this treasure? Does it arrive from ourselves?
A Bologna man of letters, who was present at one of her first debates, wrote enthusiastically to his friend, "She is not afraid of anyone." To put it somewhat flippantly, she loved the limelight and was quite unintimidated by the presence of various illustrious cardinals, legates, nobles, professors, and visitors.
I always have to act so humble and modest. You, dear Dean, would sooner wear your wig the wrong way round than let me teach at the university. And what have you all said behind my back, thinking I wouldn't hear? Better a woman with a beard than a woman with an education. You, dear legate, are at least thinking correctly. You also want to advance science. I am counting on you. You must support my work.
Although the papal legate cannot dictate to the university management, his word carries weight. This is because he acts in the name of Pope Benedict XIV, one of Bassi's most important patrons.
This pope was an extraordinary one, because his idea of renewal also concerned the world of women. So she had the great good fortune to live at a time when a protector wanted to strengthen the cultural and scientific world of women, in the best possible sense.
Is it like the mind, a gift of birth and beauty? Now I just have to persuade the dean to come to my experiment. Quid pro quo. I stand on stage politely and say what he wants to hear, but he has to do what I want.
You really are persistent, dear Laura.
But what is your answer?
Professoressa, we have always been great supporters of your science. It honors God and benefits the city.
Then you should support me. A representative of the university must see my experiment with their own eyes.
Mr. Chairman, I hope to see you later at the presentation by us in Laura Bassi. You have to admit that the Institute needs new impetus in the field of electricity, don't you? And the Professoressa has good ideas.
Laura has set herself an ambitious goal with the construction of a lightning conductor on the university tower. It would not only be the first in the whole of Europe, but also the first to be realized by a woman. And the first lightning conductor on a public building in the city.
Wait, do you always have to be first?
Come off it! You are too slow. Hurry! We have to get to the very top.
Don't worry, I'm coming.
city is beautiful. It deserves our commitment to it.
Really beautiful. Show me your plan again.
From Franklin's explanations, Laura knows what she mustn't forget when building a lightning conductor. The metal rod has to be attached at the highest point and then run along the tower into the ground. But most importantly, the rod has to be well earthed.
I think we have to leave the conductor at an angle here across the platform.
I think so too, and then along the tower and down into the ground.
Laura Bassi cannot know whether the construction will work. She can only hope. There are no meaningful empirical values that she can rely on. And lightning conductors don't exactly enjoy public trust.
It's actually a very simple device. Attach the metal rod, guide it into the ground, done. There's not a lot that has to be discussed, really.
But even with the simple setup of this invention, the smallest errors can have serious consequences. Researchers are still working on optimizing lightning protection systems today.
Controlling lightning is difficult to do.
This is mainly due to the immense power of lightning and its unpredictable course.
Lightning in nature is of course much stronger than what we can generate here in the laboratory. Nevertheless, the energy content released by such a lightning discharge here in the lab is certainly great enough that if you were to be struck by it, it would be fatal.
The high electrostatic voltage generated in the atmosphere during thunderstorms is produced by today's researchers using an electrical generator. Under laboratory conditions, they test how a lightning conductor on a tower attracts and dissipates the airborne charge, and also what happens if the energy content is too high for the conductor. After all, lightning can discharge several 100,000 volts. Only the slow motion shot reveals the sheer power of the lightning bolt.
The wire vaporizes. It virtually explodes because the current flow in this thin wire is so great that it heats up very strongly and then simply vaporizes. A certain cross-section, therefore, has to be guaranteed for real lightning protection systems. And it has to be about the thickness of a little finger. Otherwise, if lightning did strike, it would simply melt.
It's just as dangerous if the wire is not properly earthed. That is, if the energy flow isn't discharged into the ground. The lightning can then jump uncontrollably to other objects. Lightning seeks the path of least resistance. It's in its nature. In the worst case, the consequences can be fatal.
The idea of the lightning conductor is that I create a path for the lightning current to flow along. If this path is not available, the lightning current looks for a new path. And it can happen that this lightning current jumps from one house to the next, or strikes a passerby standing in front of the house.
Lightning could strike down there too, for all I care.
Hit the academy, you mean, with all those stubborn professors?
Yeah. Then maybe they'll finally see the light.
Whether the university's elite circle is prepared to pave the way for new inventions and trust in new technology is more than questionable in 1752.
Well, 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 if it isn't the dean.
It's always difficult to say whether people's worries are justified or not. With the introduction of lightning conductors in the 18th century, it was a question of gaining the support of certain individuals, the top people, those with social status. If they approved, then lightning conductors could be introduced. If they disapproved, that made it far more difficult.
He's probably hoping that my experiment will fail.
Please be seated.
Very well.
He's in for a surprise now. Honored guests, today you will see in our experiment how important electricity research is for Bologna. You catch mice with cheese and professors with facts. Hopefully, anyway. Everything I know is in this experimental setup. They'll be amazed. I'm going for maximum show effect. That's right, gentlemen. Feast your eyes. I know exactly how to handle electricity. That's what happens if we don't attach a lightning conductor to the tower.
The lightning conductor house model was very spectacular. The little house either crashed apart or remained standing undamaged. In a way, this was one of the weapons of the Enlightenment, that this great danger of lightning strikes could be averted.
Mama, here, please.
Thank you, my darling. Now, my dear Dean, comes the serious part of my demonstration. A lightning strike with a lightning conductor. Attach the wire to the tower and earth it in the ground. Turn the flywheel to generate an electrostatic charge. That should be enough. The capacitors should already be sufficiently charged. Well, now comes the moment of truth. I knew it. The tower is still standing. Now they have to let me do it.
Our most sincere congratulations, Professoressa.
Your kind words mean a lot to me. So now we'll build the lightning conductor.
Encouraging enough? To take action immediately. Don't you think?
Put the plans on paper and we'll discuss them.
Don't take too long, even though patience is a virtue.
It's not one of mine.
Laura Bassi teaches us a very important lesson. She is a woman who's never used her elbows to enter a world that was previously closed to women. It is her talent, her skills, that have made her what she is.
No one can tell me that it doesn't work, because it does.
That same year, Laura Bassi and her husband are allowed to install a lightning conductor on the observatory tower. But after noisy protests from the population, it had to be dismantled again. In 1776, just 2 years before her death, Laura Bassi was awarded a full physics professorship. Today, her name is only known to a few. This extraordinary physicist is said to have bequeathed her notes to the archives of the Academy of Bologna. To date, however, only a few have been found. If it hadn't been for her correspondence, it might have been overlooked that Laura Bassi was a pioneer for women in the natural sciences. She was not afraid of anyone.